Alright, shalom, shalom. And give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who look like the other nations, but their spirit bears witness that they're the children. The spirit bears witness that they're the children of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And shalom to the real sisters out there. Alright. Today I want to go into this topic of, I'm going to go into several topics. The first one being the topic of the so-called Bishop Nate of IUIC. So we know, we know that, this is basically more proof of what we've been saying, that, basically, this man is juiced in, and his works are proving it. And he threw up that. You can watch that video by the elder Apostle Gabar. His channel, Daily Edification, Daily Exhortation. He brought it out. Showed this dude throwing up the mano cornuto. And it was not an accident. It was not an accident. And he said it right whenever he was talking about the works. Right when he was talking about the works, and I thought that was heavy. Scripture occurred to me. I believe it was a spirit. Matthew 12:35. A good man. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Verse 35. A good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things, and the evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. Verse 36. But I say unto you that every... Okay, no, never mind. It's further up. See, I'm having to record. I can't really go live because these devils, they basically they're not letting me. They basically got me shadow banned because it's not like official, but I can't go live. Like, I can't set it up. But yeah, this is what, they got our IP addresses and shit down and everything. You know how they work. But yeah, Matthew verse 12, verse 33, either make the tree good and its fruit good, or else make the tree, kind of goes into it, corrupt and its fruit corrupt, for the tree is known by its fruit. Your fruits, that's like an analogy for your works, one of its meanings. In this case, that's the meaning of it. And alright, let me go. There's another precept. There's another one. The tree is known by its fruits. Yep. There's another one that goes into that, I think. Alright, so I think the point was proven there. Alright, so moving on to the next subject. Yeah, his point was proven, his fruits, show who he is, what he's really about, That mano cornuto sign, if y'all don't know about it, for those of y'all that don't know about it, it's also known as the devil horn sign. A lot of these celebrities, they be throwing it up, and it's yeah. A lot of these celebrities that done sold out be throwing that shit up. Look into it. All right, but moving on to the next subject. Basically, I woke up and I saw RT News video. It showed that now there's a so-called White Lives Matter protest. There's been so-called Black Lives Matter protests. Now they got so-called White Lives Matter protests. And, with all that's going on with George Floyd and shit, and now they had another shooting in Minnesota. Another so-called black man shot dead in Minnesota. I believe he's an unarmed so-called black man that was shot dead there. So, just in time for the verdict, which I believe they're gonna let that dude go. I believe they're gonna let that devil go. They're gonna let him loose. Just to piss our people off. Because the BLM movement, is set up and shit. It's funded. It's controlled opposition, but you got our people in there as well that are, they're sincere about it. They're really about that cause. Because our people, the so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans mainly, our people are tired of the oppression, tired of, catching hell under this devil, under these heathens, which are these other nations. Well, yeah. They're tired of catching hell under the enemies, and so some of our people will actually, we got our people in those movements. They really think that it's gonna stop the oppression. So, that's gonna piss off our people, and there's also the so-called White Lives Matter rally that was in Fort Worth. Showing you that also these devils, and you may have a few of our people scattered among them. You have that as well, but Esau, Edom, these average so-called white people, man, they pissed off as well. They're not able to show their hatred like that as much. So they pissed off as well. But tension on both sides. It's heated, so it's about to pop off, and that's just more biblical prophecy coming to pass. Matthew 24, verse 7: for nation shall rise against nation. Nation against nation. Those are talking about different nationalities or different races of people. That's what that's talking about. And kingdom against kingdom, which is of course going into World War III. But which is a process in itself. It's not just gonna pop off. Just go nuclear out of nowhere either. You could see that taking shape as well with Iran, North Korea. They starting really flex their muscles. They starting. That shit getting heated too. But these prophecies, they're coming to pass. They're coming to pass, and we're getting closer to, like, the final fulfillment of them, the actual race war popping off, Also, kingdom against kingdom, Also, if you think about it, these it could, go into that civil war that's coming. Because a lot of those counter protesters, they were so-called white people too. So it could go into that as well. Because, it's gonna be like they're two different kingdoms fighting each other. Or two main sides. You have the right wing, the Republicans, the conservatives, Proud Red Devils, right? And then you have the so-called liberal, the Democratic, those the devils that their approach is different. The only thing different is their approach, their feelings towards you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, as well as you Israelite foreigners that you Israelites that be like unto the speckled bird, looking like the other nations. Their feeling is the same. It's their approach that's different. But yeah, these devils, they're turning on each other, based off of the same system that they created, to fool us. They created it to have our people divided against each other also. And that system, that pit that they created, they're falling into it. Because now they're divided, and ain't it some shit, they're divided over. Ultimately, you look at it, the Republicans, they're like the blood gang for these Edomites, and the Democrats, they're like the Crip gang for these Edomites. So they're being divided into basically, yeah. If you look at it, two gangs that's beefing, two gangs of Edomites. That's all, which is also the curses falling upon them. But goes into ultimately these curses. Well, yeah. Ultimately, that civil war, what's gonna happen between these two parts of America, Babylon the Great, also known as Egypt, spiritually in the Bible, known as Sodom and Egypt. And I want to get a precept that actually came to mind. It's in Psalms, basically, talking about they're gonna fall into their own pit. The wicked fall into their own pit. But if I can't get it, I'll get that Isaiah 19 scripture. Looking for a precept that fits it. Precept that I was thinking of. Maybe this one might apply. Psalm 94, verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity had fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? Well, they set up this Republican and Democratic system. Verse 21, they gathered themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemned the innocent blood. You know, massacre of our people, man. You know, they always slay our people and hold themselves not guilty. Continually. Verse 22, you know, that's just the history of this place. That's just talking about this place. Verse 22, but Yahweh is my defense, and my power is the rock of my refuge. Verse 23, he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off, in their own wickedness. Yeah, Yahweh, our power, shall cut them off. Yeah, because, you know, a part of their wickedness was pushing that left-right divide, because, you know, what they was doing was having our people who did a little better, our people who looked more like them, you know, believe that, you know, look down on our people who look down on the original looking Jakes, man, you know, Israelites, so-called black people, and the Northern Kingdom, so-called Latinos. That's what they did, but also the Bloods and the Crips, you know, they had them divided against each other. And, you know, same thing with so-called Mexicans, tribe of Ishkar. They had the Norteños and the Sureños divided against each other. It is probably, yeah, if you was to dig into it, you'd probably find something. You'd probably find this devil's hand in it somewhere. Because this is what this devil do. You know, he goes around. You know, he goes around and he divides and conquers. That's what he do. You know, the Romans did that shit too. You know, the Romans did that shit, and then now the so-called European and American so-called white people, right now they doing that shit. Now, really, you know, it's headed up by these elites, of course. But you know, these devils, you know, they've been playing that divide and conquer game, you know, for a long ass time, ever since Rome. And hey, looking even further back, you have no one tells you even before this devil was in power, when during the Medo-Persian Empire, that devil Haman, he was an Agagite, he was an Amalekite, Agag was the last king of the Amalekites. So you trace it back. The Amalekite is the Edomite, but the additions of Esther also tell you that Haman, he was a Macedonian. Guess who else was? Alexander the Greek. Him too, he was the first to be king over all Greece. It'll tell you that wickedness multiplied when these people took over, So that is when the wicked took over, But yeah, that's how you know. And so they've been doing that even before then. That's just their MO. So, they're falling by their own wickedness. Now they're being divided and conquered. Ultimately, World War III is also that as well, because what do you have? You have the Russians, which are so-called white people. They're Edomites, okay? They're run by Edomites. Russia is controlled by Edomites. And then you have America, Babylon the Great, of course, controlled by Edomites. And you have the EU, known as the 10-horned beast in the Bible. That's in Daniel the fourth beast, 10 horns. That's the EU. The little horn is America, and the beast that the whore rides. That's actually that's it actually tells you, well, when you look into it. That's the EU, the original European EEC nations, right? Your EEC nations, the original ones, was at the Treaty of Rome. There's 10 of them, so But yeah, eventually, they're gonna turn on this whore, man. Revelation 17, verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, they shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So, these EU nations, even the UK, they're gonna turn on this place known in the Bible as Babylon the Great, this whore that sitteth upon many waters, which is described here in verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, which the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. All these, she had control over them. So they're gonna be part of. They're gonna turn on. They're gonna turn on this whore. That's going all the way back. Going all the way back to the kingdom versus kingdom. Hey, it also goes. Hey, there's other precepts that go into this as well. This man is divided on all levels. Just like our people have been divided on all levels. Actually, a precept that goes into that too. I get several precepts. This civil war is also coming to pass too. And it was actually prophesied in the Bible, because, like I said, this place is known as Sodom and Egypt in the Bible. You have to remember that for the precepts I'm bringing out. Alright. And Satan, that word simply means adversary in the Hebrew. And these devils, self-explanatory, man. Self-explanatory. Matthew 12, verse 25. And, it says Jesus, but, we know that his real name in the Hebrew, see, he was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Those are facts. And he was not a Hellenized Jew. He was very much in touch with his heritage. So, his real name was Yahushai, meaning he saves. And Yahushai knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And that Edomite, that devil, who a lot of our people think really was watching out for them, Abraham Lincoln, right? He actually quoted this because, they got a taste of what's actually coming to them. They was having that civil war. But the sequel coming, right? Sequel coming. They ain't gonna overcome that shit this time, because they divided on all fronts. Verse 26, and if Satan cast out Satan, he's divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So, how's this man's kingdom gonna stand? He's divided. And of course this was a reply to the Pharisees who was scoffing at him, talking about this fellow does not cast out devils but by they was trying to demonize him, but it's true, but it's also, it proves the point that I'm bringing out. And got precept and hold up. Basically, these different Edomite run kingdoms are gonna turn it on each other as well. They're gonna turn on the whore, and as well as these other nations. They're all gonna turn on this whore. It's gonna end up becoming that, because more nations are gonna leave that alliance that they have with this whore, America, Babylon the Great, Lady Liberty, right? They're gonna leave the alliance that they have with this place, and they're gonna link up